Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video, and today, which all of you should know by the title, I will be giving you all the best tips going into the solo cash cups this season, as well as how you can prepare for them with the best possible practice routines, and I will also be listing the items that aren't in the tournament loot pool. Before hopping into the video, I'd like to shout out Galaxy FV for being supportive of the channel, and make sure to comment on today's video if you'd like a chance to be shouted out in the next video. Without further ado, let's just jump straight into the video. Before jumping into the tips, I'd like to talk about the solo cash cup format. So if you know what the solo cash cup is, just skip ahead because I really don't want to waste your time unless you need to know the dates and times of the tournament. For those who are new to Fortnite competitive, the solo cash cup is a solo tournament that takes place across 2 rounds. Round 1 taking place every Friday and round 2 being the finals, which takes place every Saturday, which the top 600 players on each region will earn a spot in. The first solo cash cup will be taking place on Friday the 7th, and all times I will be listing are in EST time zone, so convert it to your current time zone if needed. EU will be taking place from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. EST, and the finals will be from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. EST the following day, and a central will be from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. EST, and the finals will be from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. EST the following day, and a west will be from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. EST, and the finals will be from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. EST the following day. OC will be from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. EST, and the finals will be from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. EST on the following day as well. Brazil will be from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. EST, and the finals will be from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. EST the following day. Asia will be from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. EST, and the finals will be from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. EST the following day. And finally, Middle East will be from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. EST, and the finals will be from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. EST the following day. I'd also like to mention that it looks like the second solo cash cup for EU, Brazil, Asia, and OCE will take place an hour later, and the first solo cash cup opens for Middle East will be an hour earlier at 2 p.m, while the rest of the Middle East solo cash cups will start at 3 p.m. EST. So keep an eye out each week to make sure you know what time the tournament starts. Moving on to the point format, you will receive 1 placement point for every player that gets eliminated after the top 50 for a total of 60 points for a win, and you will receive 2 points per elimination. So the placement to kill ratio is 60-2, which is the same as last season. This means you will need to get 30 eliminations to match a victory royale. So I recommend playing for endgame every single game and get your eliminations endgame, but don't force them, let the eliminations come to you. In the finals, eliminations are worth 3 points, so the placement to kill ratio is now 60-3, meaning you have to get 20 eliminations to match a victory royale. So you will definitely want to make sure to get some eliminations, but like what I said before, let the eliminations come to you. With all that out of the way, let's jump straight into the tips and tricks. Jumping into my first tip, I will be talking about mobility and what the best mobility is and how you can properly use it. This season, we have 3 different mobility items. We have the kneecapper, Sub-Zero's gauntlets, as well as launch pads, which are probably the worst. You can carry up to 2 launch pads, but these are going to be the worst mobility, especially with the AR meta we have today. Like, I'm gonna be honest, you'll get eliminated before you can even jump on a launch pad. But if you can use it right, it can actually be a good mobility. If you place a ramp above you as well as a floor after that ramp, you will get sent forward without having the gliding animation, but you will only go about 17 meters. Also, I'd like to note that you actually do not take fall damage by doing this. Trust me, I tested it out many times. You do not take fall damage. But if you do low pad without the floor, you can go about 100 meters, but you will most likely take a lot of damage if you do this. So if you don't have a bat, this is something you could definitely hold, as it could be very useful in trios, especially if you know how to properly use it, and it's very good to get around the map early game. But if you don't find any mobility and you don't know how to use the pad properly, or you aren't confident using it, I would carry a third heal, as that's not a bad choice either. The second mobility item I'd like to talk about are Sub-Zero's gauntlets, and these are a very mid item because when you use the slide action, you only have 3 uses until you have a cooldown, as well as you are very limited to how much control you have with them, and there's actually a slight delay to when you can move and build, so players will have about a second to where they can shoot you and you won't be able to move or build, as well as you only go about 22 meters per charge. Even if you use all 3 charges, you can't even get 100 meters, as well as you are completely vulnerable while using it. And the best mobility as of right now, this could change with the future update that will be bringing us the drill that will work similar to the rocket ram, I believe, by the key art, and I will update the description of this video as soon as it releases, explaining if the drill is something that you should hold, so keep your eyes out for that when it comes to the game. But as of right now, you should hold the kneecapper as your mobility item. You can go double the range of Sub-Zero's gauntlets in the same amount of time with full control while using this mobility. And the best way to use the bat is by holding your sprint and hitting your slide button repeatedly as shown in the clip shown on screen. And by doing this, you move about the same speed as running with it, but you save 3 times the stamina on the bat, which means you can go even further. And you can double your speed if you combo the bat with the gold splashes, but the slide tactic only works in open space. You most likely won't be able to do this through moving zones unless you have a direct path with no builds in the way. If you're in a stacked game or there's a lot of players alive in the end game, you will move faster just by running and jumping with the bat, especially if you have gold splashes combined with the bat. And if that wasn't good enough, you only drain about 10% of the charge on the bat every time you use it, and every time you eliminate an opponent carrying a bat, they drop a fully charged one, just like the void masks. This item is also going to be the best item to take over height endgame. I'll show a couple clips of me taking height with the bat endgame so you can see how to properly use it and how easy it is to use. You can also be a no life and literally just abuse the attack button on the bat into boxes endgame. Like, let's be real, it is extremely broken and will probably get nerfed by the time this video is out. Like, let's get on our knees and pray that happens, because it is just absurd. It's literally the sword 2.0. Moving on to loadouts, this was a very big debate with the mammoth pistol and snipers, but since they aren't in tournaments anymore, now the best guns to be holding is a sentinel pump and hollow AR or burst AR. But if you don't plan on needing surge, I would carry the collateral AR, as this is one of the best ARs to hold in an endgame because it's very good at keeping pressure and bleeding through builds and jumping into boxes for refreshes, especially if you're on height. In my opinion, this is a better version of the Fury AR, but that's just preference. And as for heals, I would carry gold splashes and a chug jug. They both give shields and whites and are very fast. Minis and water sprites are also a very good combination of heals to use, as well as minis and gold splashes. Moving on to some tips to prepare for the solo cash cup is picking out a drop spot, as this will be crucial to having a successful game. If you have a bad drop spot, you're going to be scuffed and will most likely get eliminated mid-game and waste time, and we don't want that, which is why I'm making this video. Obviously, I'd recommend going to Fortnite.gg and looking for drop spots and test them out in ranked and scrims. Once you find your drop spot, it's crucial to get a drop map for your drop to make sure you're the first one to land and get a gun. You can make your own, or what I would recommend is just buying one, preferably from dropmap.net, as these drop maps have been thoroughly tested, and I'll leave the link in the description down below. Moving on to some zone tips, you will want to be playing for endgame every single game, and when it comes to solos, if you move around the map too much, you will get caught and get Wkeyed. So during first and second zone, you will want to loot and stay on the edge of zone, and when third zone opens, you will want to start rotating to the center of third zone so you can get to the center of fourth zone as fast as possible and sit in a bush. The reason being is if you're center of fourth zone, you will guaranteed get fifth zone, which you will most likely be on the edge of fifth and will have about a 25% chance of pulling sixth zone, which is half and half. And if you pull sixth zone, then you will want to box up. The reason I say not to box up before this is people are literally just playing weird in the solo cash cup and will try to key you and grief your game. They do not care about qualing, like on everything, they do not care. They will grief you. So for early and mid game, camp on edge in houses or bushes, and once third zone opens, start heading towards the center so you can pull the next two zones, because trust me, you do not want to be caught on edge of zone in end game. You will waste so much time, you will die before all the good placement comes in. My next tip is, what do you do when you get Wkeyed? And the trick is to just stay as calm as possible and play box fights and try to deal damage to where they will leave you. But use all your mats and heals if you have to, because you can always refarm, but it is better to use all your heals and mats than get eliminated and give your heals and mats to help your opponent, and then you waste time and your game. Another tip is what to do if you have bad games. The best thing you can do is keep calm. If you have time to spare, then take a 5-minute break. Remember, this is a 3-hour tournament. You have lots of time, so come back refreshed and with a clear mindset. Having a clear mindset and being confident and calm is the key to doing well well in solos. And another endgame tip I have specifically for this season is make sure to focus on rotates. You will have to rotate earlier, and it will take you a lot longer to rotate if you get max pulls, so avoid fighting as much as possible when you have to rotate. Finally, moving on to how you can practice and prepare for the solo cash cup is by playing a lot of scrims. I would recommend vitals and NA practice scrims for advanced players, and for others I'd recommend NA open and manu scrims. Another practice method is consistently aim training and mech training for 10 to 20 minutes a day. This will make sure you are ready to go and prevent you from dying to a missed shot or missed edit. 9 times out of 10, that's how most players get eliminated in their solo cash cup. For aim training, I recommend Kovacs or Aim Labs. And for mechanic training, I would use Mechanic Training V4. I'll leave the map code on screen now, as well as in the description below. And I'll leave a picture on screen of everything that's in the tournament loot pool, so feel free to pause the video to see what's in tournaments. That's going to conclude today's video. Please, if you have any questions at all, don't be afraid. Drop a comment down below and I'll be sure to answer you all. If you enjoyed this video or found this video useful, make sure to drop a like on today's video. If we can manage to get 200 likes on today's video, I will post a tutorial on how to qualify for FNCS Division 2. I have lots of content lined up, so if you'd like to follow me on this competitive journey, make sure to subscribe, as we are also so close to 3,000 subscribers, and that would be a dream come true. Without further ado, have a great rest of your day or night, and I'm out. Peace.